People of Reddit, what's the scariest thing you've ever experienced? Back in 2012, I worked at a pub in a rural area that was just a couple of miles from my house. I always closed, so I wouldn't get out of work until midnight or 1 in the morning. On nice nights, I'd just walk home instead of my fiancée having to get out of bed and come get me. I'd had a very good night tip-wise one night. I left the pub with $200 or so in cash on me. Now, as I said, I live in a rural area, which means the road is a narrow 2-lane road lined with forest with no streetlights. I'm walking along, enjoying the peace and quiet. A car comes up behind me, passes me, and goes on. I think nothing of it, until the car gets a bit down the road and stops. It sits there for a minute, and then slowly leaves. A couple minutes later, a car comes towards me, driving in the opposite direction. It slows down as it passes me, then drives on. I turn and watch the car. As it's slowing down made me a little bit paranoid. It gets down the road and stops, sits a minute and leaves. A minute later, a car comes driving up behind me. I get out of the road, and as it passes me, it slows down. I realize it's the one that passed me just a minute ago, and is probably the same as the first car to pass me. Just like the last couple of times, it drives up the road a bit and stops. Now at this point, I'm sure they're up to no good. I get my ass into the woods far enough that I can barely see the road, and I hide. Sure enough, a car comes back from the direction the last one had went, and this time it's driving real slow. It goes a bit down the road. I wait. It comes back, and this time it stops. I hear people get out and start walking around on the road and coming into the woods a bit. I stay still as I can. Eventually, they get back in the car and leave. I stay in the woods and make my way home. A couple of more times, slow-driving cars pass by on the road, and I hide until they're gone. I eventually make it home. The next day, I told my boss what happened. He said he'd fire me if I ever walked to or from work again. He told everyone else that worked there what had happened. We were a tight-knit group, so everyone pitched in to make sure I always had a way back and forth. Please like and subscribe. These take a lot of effort, and they take a long time to make.